Hey, Dr. Gary Rademacher here from the Business Academy. And listen, if you want to scale your practice, this is one thing that you have to put in at some point in time, or you want freedom. Staff-driven practice, you want freedom. You need to have a case manager, or some of you may have heard a patient educator, or someone who does your report of findings process. So this is someone who you bring on the lines to take an effective consultation, to help in the exam process where they're scribing for you so that you can get in and out of the room quickly when you're doing your exam. This is someone who, will help in the report of findings process. They'll educate the patient up. And then if you take x-rays or you do testing in your office, after that part of the report of findings process, this is someone who's trained at onboarding the patient onto care and exchanging money for your expertise. So they're the ones who close the deal, all right? Super important position in your office. Now, to take a step back, let me explain my journey a little bit, because I think this is I always look at, like, I'd like to learn. If I can learn from someone else's mistakes and not have them, then I'm that much further ahead of where I don't want to recreate the wheel, right? So for me, I had a 35% close rate, meaning that 35% of the people that came into my report of findings were starting in care. That means, man, upwards of 65% weren't, which was very painful for me, because my intention was I want to help and serve as many people as I possibly can. I had gone through many consultants, and they all worked to some degree, and I always got some nuggets. I'm always learning from people, but it wasn't until I hired the Business Academy to effectively train me on doing an effective report of findings, getting into effective, good communication with people. You have to understand that, like, to have good understanding between two people, you have to have really good communication, okay? So once I learned that, I came back to my office. I was at 75, 80% close rate. It completely changed my office. I skyrocketed from there. I went from 100 visits to 600 visits in a few years. And basically, it was from taking that report of findings course, which we tell you that if you're going to hire someone as a case manager, you want them trained through the Business Academy, because it is the best form of training that a case manager or a patient educator can have in order to remove you from that. Because here's what happens in a practice. When you start to grow, you have this invisible ceiling that you hit, because if you are adjusting patients, if you're doing a report of findings, if you're marketing, if you're wearing all these different hats in your office, you're going from one thing to the next, right? And there's only so many hours in the day, and so you have this invisible ceiling, and it's called scale. This is your scaling ceiling. You can only grow so much. So at some point in time, you're going to want this position. So who are you looking for? Which is what the video is all about. How do I find an effective, good case manager? What are you looking for? Well, the number one quality that you're looking for is someone who has empathy. Okay. Now, you don't want too much empathy, but you got to have some. Like, if you bring someone on who doesn't care about people, they're not going to do well. But if you bring someone on who has empathy for people, and again, I'm going to go back to you find out what their motivation is, you find out what their conviction is, what's their belief in your product. Have they been to a chiropractor before? Has getting treated helped them? That's not the most important thing, but you want to get them under care so they can see the benefits of your service. See, they have to have faith, confidence, and belief in your product, service, and ideas, and you want them to start swimming in your Kool-Aid, for instance, right? They need to fully be immersed in why you do what you do. And then you have a walking testimonial, and you have someone who knows that when they start a patient on care, you're going to take care of them, and they're going to get results. Again, I'm looking for empathy. If someone has a little bit of sales experience, great, but I'm going to teach them that anyway. Here's the one thing that you can't teach, and that's courage. What's in here? Man, I want to know what their motivation and conviction is, why they're doing what they're doing, why they want to work for you, and so that's what I'm looking for. When you find that person, you've got a gem. And I tell you what, someone who operates at that level can grow in your organization. I've had several case managers become office managers, become operational directors, become executive directors. So they will grow with your organization. And that's what you need when you're wanting to scale and when you're wanting to create a staff-driven practice and not necessarily a personality-driven practice. that ceiling that we talked about goes up when you find those types of people, and they push you up and out of the organization so that you can play the game that you want to play. And the Business Academy can help you with that. So give us a call, and we look forward to helping you out. We'll see you on the next video.